Have you ever noticed how we are often told that staying fit as we get older has to be a struggle? We're led to believe that if we aren't huffing and puffing at a gym or tracking every single calorie, then we're somehow failing at the aging process. But think about it this way. What if the real secret to living a long and vibrant life isn't found in a fitness class at all? Now, listen to this, because it might challenge everything you've been told. Major researchers at places like Harvard Medical School have spent years looking at why certain people in the East, like Japanese seniors do 6 movements every morning, seem to glide through their 80s and 90s while we struggle with basic mobility. What they found is that it isn't about how much you sweat or how hard you push. It's actually about something much simpler that most of us have completely forgotten how to do. Here's what I mean. There's a specific way of moving that has been practiced for generations in places where people regularly live past 100. For a long time, Western doctors actually dismissed these movements as being too simple to matter. They thought if it wasn't difficult, it couldn't be effective. But stay with me here, because recent brain scans and longevity studies have revealed something extraordinary. I know what you're thinking. You might feel like your best days of movement are behind you, or that those aches in your knees and back are just an unavoidable part of the calendar. I want you to know that I hear you, and those feelings are completely valid. We've been raised in a culture that designs our lives around sitting in chairs and driving in cars, which slowly tells our muscles they aren't needed anymore. But today, I want to share a meaningful promise with you. You don't need a gym membership, and you don't need to buy any expensive equipment. You just need to rediscover a few basic rhythms that your body was actually designed for. By the end of our time together, you're going to understand exactly how to wake up your nervous system and protect your independence for years to come, without ever feeling like you're doing a workout. Let's start with something that seems almost too basic to mention, but it is the foundation of everything else. Think about the way you walk. For most of us, walking is just a way to get from point A to point B. We're usually in a hurry and our minds are miles away. But there's a practice called slow walking that is treated like sacred medicine in other parts of the world. Now, this isn't just strolling, it's a very intentional and rhythmic way of moving that focuses on the connection between your breath and your feet. Here's where it gets interesting. Did you know that each of your feet has 33 different joints? Most of the time when we walk in heavy shoes on flat pavement, those joints stay locked up and stiff. But when you practice this slow, rhythmic walk, you're actually sending a flood of information to your brain. Researchers found that this specific pace allows your foot to roll completely from the heel, through the arch, and off the toes. Think of it like giving your brain a high-definition map of where your body is in space. This matters more than most people realize, because as we get older, our sense of balance depends on these signals. If the signals are fuzzy, we feel unsteady. If the signals are clear, we feel confident. Now, listen to how this works. You take a breath in for 2 steps, then you hold that breath for 2 steps, and then you exhale slowly for 4 steps. This creates a rhythm that tells your nervous system it's safe to relax. Most people miss this because they think walking faster is always better for the heart. But this slow, rhythmic approach has been shown to help with arterial stiffness and even help nudge blood pressure into a healthier range. Imagine your blood vessels like garden hoses. When we're stressed and rushing, they get tight and brittle. But this slow breathing and walking rhythm acts like a gentle massage for those vessels, keeping them flexible. I recommend trying this for just 10 minutes in the morning. Find a patch of grass or a quiet hallway and just focus on that roll of the foot. You might find that your balance feels sharper almost immediately.
Now, here is where the story takes a turn. Think about your joints like the hinges on a door. If you never open the door all the way, those hinges eventually get rusty and the range of motion gets smaller and smaller. In many cultures, there's a morning ritual that involves a flowing sequence of movements designed to oil those hinges. I know it can be frustrating to wake up feeling like your body is a bit stuck or tight. night. But research from major medical colleges has shown that a few minutes of continuous gentle stretching can actually increase the production of something called synovial fluid. Think of this fluid as the natural oil for your body. Without it, our joints feel like bone rubbing on bone. But when we move in a gentle, flowing way, we're essentially pumping that oil into the spots that need it most. The key here is that you never hold a position until it hurts. You just keep moving. It's like moving through warm honey. You might start by just raising your arms over your head as you breathe in, and then letting them fall naturally as you breathe out. This simple act opens up the ribs and helps you take deeper breaths, which brings more oxygen to your brain. Most people don't realize that we often breathe very shallowly as we get older, which can make us feel tired and foggy. By simply opening the chest and moving the shoulders, we're telling the body it is time to wake up. This next part surprised researchers. They found that people who do these flowing movements daily had significantly fewer falls. It's not because they had bigger muscles, but because their joints were responsive. They could react to a trip or a slip because their hinges were well oiled. If this is helping you, subscribe. I share research-backed health videos every week for people over 60 who want to stay independent. Let's move on to something that might sound a little intimidating at first, but I promise we can make it doable for you. Think about how much time we spend sitting in chairs. Chairs are a relatively new invention in human history, and while they are comfortable, they can be a bit of a trap for our hips. When we sit in a chair, our hip muscles stay in a shortened position for hours. Over time, this makes it hard to stand up straight and can lead to that shuffling walk we all want to avoid. There's a movement that involves lowering your center of gravity toward the floor. Now, I'm not saying you need to drop into a deep squat right this second, but even using a wall for support and lowering yourself just a few inches can do wonders for your spinal health. Think of it as decompressing your back. When you allow your hips to open up, you're taking the pressure off the lower discs in your spine. I know what you're thinking. My knees could never handle that. But let me explain it this way. You don't have to go all the way down to get the benefit. Just the act of reaching for that range of motion tells your body to keep those muscles active. Harvard researchers actually discovered that cultures where people regularly get down lower to the ground have far fewer hip replacements. It's a use it or lose it situation. If you can spend just a minute or two a day practicing a supported version of this, you're effectively telling your hips that they need to stay mobile. This is about more than just flexibility. It's about maintaining the strength to stay in your own home and take care of yourself without needing someone else to help you up. Here's where it gets really interesting. There's a simple test that doctors sometimes use to predict how well someone is aging. It involves standing on just one leg. Now, stay with me here because this is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain. When you lift one foot off the ground, your body has to make thousands of tiny micro adjustments every single second to keep you upright. Your ears, your eyes, and the nerves in your feet all have to talk to each other at lightning speed. This isn't just a physical challenge, it's a massive workout for your brain's coordination center. Studies have shown that the more gray matter we have in that part of our brain, the better our memory and focus tend to be. Most people miss the chance to do this because they think they need to be in a gym, but you can do this while you're brushing your teeth or waiting for the coffee to brew. Just keep a hand near the counter for safety. By challenging your balance in small bursts throughout the day, you're rewiring your nervous system for stability. Think of it like a software update for your balance. The more you do it, the more automatic it becomes. Researchers found that people over 60 who could hold this for 30 seconds actually had the mortality risk of someone 10 years younger. That's a huge benefit for such a tiny time commitment. Which part felt most relevant to you? And I'd love to know where you're watching from today. It's always so inspiring to see how far our community of health-conscious seniors reaches. Let me know in the comments. I love hearing about your own experiences and what has worked for you. Now we are getting to the heart of what keeps us independent. Think about the last time you were down on the floor. Maybe you were playing with a grandchild or reaching for something that rolled under the couch. For many of us, getting back up can feel like a major production.
But this transition from the floor to standing is actually one of the best ways to keep your body and brain young. Here's why. Getting up from the ground is a complex puzzle for your muscles. You have to use your core, your legs, and your arms in a coordinated sequence. This kind of movement is called motor planning. It requires your brain to think several steps ahead. In some parts of the world, people don't use much furniture. They sit on the floor to eat, to drink tea, and to talk. This means they're getting up and down dozens of times a day. Because they never stop doing it, they never lose the ability. Researchers found that this constant practice actually keeps the brain's executive function sharp. It's basically a full brain workout disguised as daily life. If you feel like you've lost this ability, don't worry. You can start by practicing on a soft surface and using a sturdy chair to help push yourself up. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to keep the conversation between your brain and your muscles alive. Every time you move through that transition, you are reinforcing the strength you need to live life on your own terms. We're coming up on the most powerful movement of all, and this one usually surprises everyone because it involves nothing more than a simple hand towel. But before we get there, I want to talk about why these movements matter so much right now. Think about aging as a journey. We can either let the path get narrower and narrower until we feel stuck, or we can do these small things to keep the path wide open. These aren't just exercises. They're a way of telling yourself that you are still capable and that your body is still a place of strength. It's about moving with grace instead of fighting against yourself. Now let me explain this final movement because it is truly the king of all longevity practices. It's a specific kind of twisting motion that uses a towel to create a gentle resistance. You hold the towel in front of you and you slowly rotate your torso. Now this sounds simple, but here's the secret. While you're twisting, you're also pulling the towel apart. This creates what scientists call an isometric contraction. It wakes up deep stabilizer muscles in your spine and your core that almost never get used in traditional walking or sitting. Researchers were shocked when they studied people who did this for just 2 minutes a day. They found that it triggered the release of something called myokines. Think of myokines as a natural medicine that your muscles produce when they're worked in a specific way. These proteins travel through your bloodstream and help reduce inflammation in every part of your body. They even help your brain grow new connections. It's like an internal pharmacy that you can activate whenever you want. The beauty of the towel twist is that it coordinates both sides of your body at once, which forces the two halves of your brain to talk to each other, which can improve memory and reaction time. It's a total body and brain reset that you can do right in your living room.
Think of it this way. You have this incredible system already built into you. You don't need to find a fountain of youth or a miracle pill. You just need to give your body the signals it is waiting for. These 6 movements are those signals. They tell your heart to stay flexible, your brain to stay sharp, and your joints to stay mobile. I know that making changes can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to do it all at once. Just pick one. Maybe tomorrow morning you try the slow, rhythmic walk for 5 minutes. Or maybe tonight you practice standing on one leg while you wash your hands. Small wins lead to big changes. I want you to feel empowered. Aging doesn't have to be a series of losses. It can be a time where you refine your movements and find a new kind of strength. I have seen so many people reclaim their energy and their confidence just by returning to these basic human rhythms. You are worth the effort, and your body is more resilient than you might think. It is never too late to start, and the benefits can show up much faster than you expect. As we wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with a thought. Every movement you make is a vote for the person you want to be tomorrow. By choosing to move with intention and care, you are choosing a future where you stay active and engaged with the world. You are taking charge of your health in a way that is sustainable and kind to your body. That is a very powerful thing. Thank you for spending this time with me and for trusting me to be a guide on your health journey.
It is a privilege to share this research with you and to see you take these steps toward a more vibrant life. Click the video on your screen to avoid the most common mistakes that accelerate aging after 60. I look forward to seeing you there and continuing this conversation about how to live your best and healthiest years. Keep moving, stay curious, and remember that your body is a wonderful gift that knows exactly how to heal and stay strong if you just give it the right cues. I will see you in the next video about legs getting weaker after 60. Do this simple balance move to stay independent.